Welcome back to Roundtable Combatives,
your favorite new podcast on everything martial arts.
First off, let's get a shout out to our sponsor, Ohana Hosting. Visit ohanahosting.com for all your web development needs. Emails, domains, hosting, WordPress, blogs, e-commerce, shopping carts, everything you need at www.ohanahosting.com. So Billy, since I'm the only one here, not an officer, decided to wear my bad guy t-shirt. Did y'all see that? Yeah, I actually wear this shirt for our women's self-defense course, since I'm the bad guy.
Oh yeah, Rennie. When is that next self-defense course?
It's not planned yet. It's for September, but I don't have a date yet.
I know y'all had to cancel last month, didn't you?
This month, we had to cancel this month. Not that we had to, it was too hard to fit it in. But we will have one coming probably the last 2 weeks of September. So we'll let you guys know. I know we've had a few people already asking about it. And like you said, hey, just come to regular class. Just come try out a regular class. So.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to wait for the workshop. You can just pop in at one of the 5 weekly classes at Cyclone, and we're doing everything self-defense anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one thing I don't like about the workshops is some people come to those workshops and they feel like, oh yeah, I know stuff. You don't. I mean, you learn something, but you got to train it, right? As we all know, you got to train it. Because adrenaline's going and somebody attacks you, you're not going to remember that shit, As when we go to competition, we don't remember, oh shit, I should have did this or that, It's just, you got to train it constantly for being effective.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not in the Cyclone area, we got many great gyms around the area.
Absolutely. Doesn't have to be our gym. It'd be any gym. I think, everybody should look into some form of self-protection, definitely. In fact, we were talking about that, and some was online. A few groups of somebody mentioned it. One of our people in our circles, I remember, it should be taught in schools. Some kind of self-protection should be taught in schools, in gyms or definitely. Something, for PE, because right now they're barely doing anything for PE, nothing at all. So what we got? So today we have Scott and Calvin, 2 law enforcement officers. And also talented athletes in martial arts, both jiu-jitsu, and also Calvin is in Muay Thai.
Muay Thai fighter.
Mm-hmm. Former MMA case.
Retired. Newly retired. Still.
Maybe gonna make a comeback one day?
Sometimes I think about it. Maybe not, depending on how I feel. If I want to cut down to 135 or move up to 155.
That was a hard cut for you. Now you've put on some pounds since then too. Muscle weight, which is going to be harder to cut.
Yeah, so probably a move up in weight if I ever get the opportunity to fight. I still get people asking me. I've actually had a family member ask me if I wanted to do a bare knuckle boxing match in Biloxi, which I was like, maybe not, depending on how I feel. But I'm doing new things. I'm loving my career now. It keeps me focused on everything I like. So I can't complain.
Yeah. Calvin came to us, to Cyclone, because he was there before me. I shouldn't say came to us, but whenever he first came, he only was doing no gi.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. It took Darren to tell him to put a gi on. And I think he had like 12 stripes on his blue belt.
All right. So let me give you a little bit of history about myself. Okay. So for guys who are old school martial artists from out of the Louisiana area, New Orleans, Metairie, Kenner area, I used to train and fight out of the gym called the Main Event in Fat City.
Yeah.
And every Friday night we used to have boxing matches, kickboxing matches, MMA matches, and they used to have a tough man competition. And then depending on the month, they would have on Saturday nights the fights between the actual athletes from different gyms. So we will always get a call and, hey, you want to fight this week, or you want to fight Friday, you want to fight Saturday? And I was always like one of the guys that would be like, yeah, let's fight. Yeah. So that's how it started for me. Now, like I said, every Friday night will be a fight between the patrons who will come and drink. It'll be like a drunk man competition.
So anybody could say, hey, I want to fight.
Yeah, they had to sign a waiver. And if y'all know who owned the main event at the time, it was balls to the walls every Friday night. And you had people coming in who said they wanted to fight a boxer from the gym or the kickboxer from the gym or a jiu-jitsu guy from the gym. And he would set it up. And it would get to a point where it got so bad because the athletes would like whooping these guys that he had to like separate them like on a Friday night and let us do a fight against different gyms like on a Saturday night or whatever particular time of the month that he had set up a fight.
So at first it was like pros versus Joes.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. I think they had a competition there for old dating site. A Limidate. I want to say, if anybody remember Limidate.
Yes. Yeah.
He had Limidate competitors coming in, and the winner would move on to the next round, while the other couple of guys got their asses handed to them on a silver platter. It was bad on some nights, on some Friday nights. And then Katrina happened, and I moved to Florida. Now, before this, I had no jiu-jitsu in my arsenal, none. Go out there as a full-blown kickboxer and either win or get my ass handed to me. I moved to Florida and I ended up training with a team called F2 Fight Team. It was coached by a guy by the name of Mike Lee. He was one of the best.
That's around Tampa. Where was that?
Tampa, Englewood, Florida, Fort Myers, Port Charlotte,
right? Yeah.
Bradenton, Sarasota, Venice, Florida. Yeah. So Mike Lee was one of the top guys in no-gi and mixed martial arts at that particular time. Our black belt instructor was a guy by the name of Robbie Craddock. He was a black belt underneath Royce Gracie, and he had a couple of the good jiu-jitsu guys. My forte was not getting taken down, and if I did get taken down, stand up. Well, it kind of evolved like all martial arts evolved.
Right.
It got to the point where I started submitting these guys and not knowing what I was doing because I watched everybody.
Yeah.
Next thing,
just learning by
this visual, like, still with your eyes, still with your eyes. And one day they beat me with a pair of belts and gave me a blue belt. They said we was watching a UFC fight, and I was late, and they met me in the garage, and about 5 or 6 guys whooped me with blue belts.
And that was with never putting a gi on.
That was never putting a gi on. Never. And we never trained in gi.
Right.
Because hell, we was all training for
a fight.
For fights. So we never wore gis. Fast forward, I moved back home to Louisiana, and I'm missing that family. I miss, like, one thing I can say about jiu-jitsu gyms and fight gyms who have a real camaraderie with each other, there's no animosity, there's no egos. I was missing that. A couple of gyms I went to out here, I liked it, but being a new guy in the gym and they know that you're a fighter, they want to try to test themselves against a new guy. Right. So they want to try to knock your head off. That didn't go so well for a couple of the guys.
Yeah.
And I sat out for a few months, got tired of it. Before I became started getting back into it, I did a couple of eyeball jobs working at some of the plants down here in Luling and Laplace. And one day I'm driving home and I see a jiu-jitsu gym, Cyclone Jiu-Jitsu. That's how I found the current gym that we all train at, some of us train at now. That's been my home ever since. I fought for that gym. I've trained at that gym. I've coached for that gym. I was made a black belt at that gym. So I'm 100%, 120% Cyclone. Yeah. Love it. Will never go to any other gym. And there's no disrespect to any other gyms, but that's my home. Yeah. That will always be my home.
We can't wait for you to come home.
Family. Yeah. Yep. And Scott, what about you, man? When did you start training? And how'd you get into this nonsense that rolling with around you guys?
So my story isn't as complex as it is, right?
Yeah.
I just joined one gym about 8 years ago, Midcity MMA. That's where I've been ever since.
What drew you to Midcity?
I had a friend that was training there,
Okay.
and he asked me to come along one night and just watch, and I did. No clue what I was watching. I understood, like I watched UFC, I understood, stuff like that, but I had no clue what was going on. You know?
Were you already an officer at the time?
I was. I've been an officer for 20 years. Yeah. And I've only been trained the past 8.
Okay.
Signed up, started going to classes, and just an eye opener, And once you start getting your ass kicked, it's humbling. You're going to go either one way. You're going to say, you know what?
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing, especially in our occupation.
Yeah.
You're either going to say, I need to learn something, right? Because I'm exposed here.
Like, I don't want to meet this kind of person on the street. We don't know what to do.
Right. And I explain that to all the guys that come in and take our Leo class.
Yeah.
It's you don't want to experience that the first time when it's on the line. You know what I mean? When you actually are out there in the street and you get a hold of somebody that might know something and you don't know anything. And next thing you know, you're on the ground and they're on top of you and it's going to shit.
Yeah.
So,
it's a whole nother feeling when you actually grab somebody and you know at that moment that you touch them that they know what they're doing.
Right. Exactly. And
so you mentioned the I'm sorry to cut you off. You mentioned the Leo class.
Yes.
So that's at Midcity.
It is. It's every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. It's open to any Leo officer in the area or anywhere.
How much does it cost?
That's free. They can
free.
Just show up.
You can't. There's not many places that offer.
There's no reason you should not be able.
The excuses are gone at that point now, right?
Right.
There's no catch. There's no pressure to join the gym. It's just trying to expose as many officers as you can to jiu-jitsu and just grappling in general.
Yeah. And it's conveniently located in Midcity, right?
Yes.
On Bank Street.
4910 Banks. Okay. It's right down the street from Jesuit High School. Yeah. So, we're there every Tuesday, Thursday, 9 a.m. So if you're out there listening and you want to train, you can't afford it. I know it can be kind of expensive.
Yeah.
At least twice a week, you can come train for free.
And that's before these programs started. That was the problem, is all these officers would have to use their own money to get additional training that they really should have for the job.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
I mean, without mentioning departments, I can tell you right now, my recruits get 1 week. One week of ground fighting in the academy, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
you might need it like 16 years down the road and be like, well, what did I do 16 years ago in the academy?
Yeah.
But I tell them all the time they need to invest in themselves as well. But
that's right.
Like you say, and it's available and it's free.
Yeah.
So if you don't do it, you can only blame yourself.
Right. So if somebody is interested, we mentioned that it's through Adopt a Cop. Do they go there first or come to you guys?
Adopt a Cop is actually separate.
Okay, separate.
That's a totally separate program.
Oh, okay. I thought.
We are an Adopt a Cop affiliate gym.
Okay.
If there's openings, I know that he had to halt the memberships, and I think that works where the gym is agreeing to charge you $50 a month and Adopt a Cop reimburse it. Okay. But you have to go once a week and you have to post that you went. You got to take a picture.
Okay.
Stay accountable, right?
Okay.
They don't want to just have officers taking the $50 and never going, and somebody's waiting to get into that.
So So the program you're saying for the Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's your own gym's policy.
That's Shawn. He just opened the doors to us and said,
"That's awesome.
We can have 2 days a week."
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shawn.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
That's a good program.
Yeah.
So do you see a lot of police officers taking advantage of the program, or are y'all full? You said something about a number of slots.
Well, it's nationwide.
Nationwide?
Yeah. So the guy that runs it, his name is Mitch.
Okay.
Adopt a Cop.
Yes. Yeah. And he's limited on funds, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
That officers are taking advantage of the program. But last I heard is that it hit its capacity. So if he's looking for donations, you can look at adoptacop.com. You can donate to that. You can help out. But we offer the 2 days a week for free.
Yeah. Right. If we can get that in the comment section as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. So like all the people that complaining cops don't get enough training, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. Donate.
Help them get the training.
Yes.
It can directly affect that.
Right.
Absolutely. So you said you've been training 8 years and you've been a cop for 20?
20, correct.
So have you noticed, or what can you say have you noticed from the difference before you trained to after you trained, as far has it affected your your encounters and such on the street?
I'd say the biggest thing you gain is your self-confidence,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just knowing that your abilities, you know that if something were to go bad, that I'm confident in my skills and what I can do. And with that, it also helps people or officers maintain their composure in the face of
Exactly.
somebody that's resisting. I mean, what usually happens that I've seen is that somebody will get out of a car or whatever on the street, and you got to arrest these people, right? So their tension level, their aggression goes to like a 10. So the officer meets it at a 10.
Right. Instead of de-escalating.
But a guy that trains, I'm not worried about you being at a 10 because I know your 10 isn't going to match my 3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay at a 3 while you stay at a 10. And hopefully you'll feed off of that and see, well, he's not getting amped up.
Well said. Well said. That is one of the things that I believe helped me when I became a officer, because I was already doing jujitsu. So I'm mellow. If anybody knows me, I'm one of the mellowest people that you will ever meet.
Absolutely.
As a fighter, as an officer, as a human being, in natural nature, like this, be like, hey, I'm cool, what's up? I'm one of those type of guys that I'm going to give you the respect that you want, even though you're going to a 10 and I'm staying at a 3. But I'm letting you know right at that particular point, the ball's in your court. And if you see me not backing out, it's not me being cocky.
Yeah.
It's me looking like, hey, just because you're here, you should realize you're here. I'm here for a reason. I'm not to say I'm not afraid of you, but I'm competent and I'm confident in my abilities to be able to take care of the situation when the situation needs to be taken care of.
Right.
Yeah. Randy, one thing I like that they both said, Scott and Calvin, they both hit 2 key terms. When I'm teaching my recruits, I tell them all the time, if you want to lessen the possibility that you have to get in a use of force encounter, treat people with respect, and then be confident. They see the confidence in you. I'm not timid. I'm not looking like I'm scared or I'm going to back down. And it's like, well, maybe this is the person to try.
Right.
But first and foremost, treat people with respect.
Right. I think that not just goes for law enforcement, but anybody that trains martial arts, you gain that confidence. You gain that I guess that ability to handle a situation, not being so riled up, because you can handle it if it goes south.
Exactly.
And you're not so quick to want to jump into an altercation. Whereas people who don't train, they get hot headed, they're ready to fight. Maybe deep down inside they want to prove them something. Or guys that train, we don't have nothing to prove.
No,
we prove it every day in the gym.
Exactly.
This is just another day, man.
Or you get humbled.
Exactly. We know that feeling. So hey,
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then same thing for when people who aren't trained, and I guess this especially goes for police officers. That's when the overuse happens. They get too physical because they don't know any other way. They think they got to overcompensate and beat the shit out of somebody to subdue them when they could just use them down.
Use the gentle art.
Yeah. So that's
I'm sorry. It's one of those things where, like I say, or like any officer who's been practicing any type of martial arts or per se jujitsu, like once you're in that mellow spot and like you say, you've been doing it for such a long time, nothing riles you. Because you've been in bad positions on the mat. Right. You put yourself in bad positions doing training sessions. So in case you do fall into that particular situation, okay.
Yeah. You don't get that fight or flight anymore.
Yeah, you don't freak out. You stay calm like you're trained.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
And the biggest thing because for my department, I actually investigate use of force. The biggest thing about use of force, the one thing that's in there is their perception, right? It's the officer's perception.
Right.
And if you can change your perception, you can change the entire encounter. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Right.
I call it verbal jujitsu or verbal judo when I'm talking to somebody. If y'all get them, like being able to talk somebody out of wanting to fight.
Yeah.
Hey man, they stay calm, stay chill. Let's
Right.
talk. They see that you're being calm and collective with them,
Yes.
and it brings their attitude down because they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
okay."
And it's subconscious as well.
Yeah.
It's subconscious because you're being easy. We use the same effect at the track when I race at the track. Sometimes I would do I would work the exit for people going on track. So we have these events where people come in and they're amateurs or not even amateurs. They just want to come and race their cars. So a lot of those guys come out and they like, rah, they just peel out and just go crazy to get onto the track.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of one of the things we do, instead of saying, "Oh, you're ready to get go," then they're like, "Okay, yeah," So hey, you ready? You're gonna have some fun, all right? All right, go ahead, pull out. Say it like that, and then they're not so much like, and then they're peeling out, and then you really can't. We're not supposed to do that at the track.
Yeah.
So then they get black flag and say, "Hey, you got to get off." So it's the way you portray yourself and project is oftentimes more than likely will arouse the same reaction in that person.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to say about that, definitely, because Scott's coach, Shawn,
Mm-hmm.
friggin', you see him at a jiu-jitsu tournament?
Yes, he's like,
It'll be like,
meditation.
yeah, he'll be telling his fighter, all right, yeah, it's fine. You got 3 minutes left and all
You
that
can do
stuff.
that if you want to.
I'm sitting in the other coach's seat over there, and I'm like, get up, come on, let's go. And Shawn's like, yeah, you got 3 minutes left. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he's very calm. I scratch my head sometimes.
I was watching one of the videos you sent, and I was listening to Shawn. Yeah, you can move your left arm if you want to.
Right.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to work.
There's one thing about Shawn's voice, especially if you train with him, every day or every couple days a week. You learn his voice, you learn his cadence.
Mhm.
He's never screaming at you from the side. It's very calm. He gave me a compliment before. He said, coaching you was like playing a video game. And I'm like, it's easy when you're coaching me because you're telling me everything to do, and your voice is just the same tone.
Right.
It's the same thing. You have 3 minutes to work.
Yeah.
You're up whatever score it is.
It's keeping you calm.
It brings you
calm.
down, and it's the same thing. Take a deep breath right here.
There's that same thing about not letting that adrenaline pump up real high to where now all of a sudden I'm getting my tunnel visioned in and all that stuff. It keeps you in the fight.
Yeah.
Right.
And you hear the other coach screaming at his competitor.
That's this guy. He heard me.
And he's like,
shut up.
That's what the other guy's thinking probably.
Yeah.
He's screaming at me. I'm getting smashed right here.
Yeah. Well, not only that, then you have other people screaming.
Right.
So then you confuse with everybody screaming,
Yeah.
But then you'll hear that if you hear that one calm voice, okay, you can pinpoint that and say, I'm staying on that calm voice.
Zone in on that voice and just follow everything he's saying, and you're going to do fine.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. So going back, did you ever have any encounters before training that you could remember and say, oh man, now if I would have did that now after training, I could have done things different.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. There's multiple times where you get to foot pursuits and then you get into a little grappling match with this guy.
Right.
And you're just trying to do whatever you can to get this guy to the ground as opposed to, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Once I get a hold of you, it's over. Right.
Right.
And it's going to be better for them too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
you're by training, you're making yourself more capable. You're protecting people per se. That's the reality of it.
Keep them safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, guys, how often do you guys each train per week per se for anything on the mat?
I'm in there 5-6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not at the gym as I used to be all the time. I used to be at Cyclone between 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm training more now at the training center that we have.
And y'all have a fabulous training center.
Like there's about
what is like 2 or 3 years old now?
About 2 or 3 years. We have about 3, maybe 4 guys who have seen some of my videos. And they have all reached out to me and say, hey, can you train on this day? Can you train on that day? And I'm like, if I'm open, I'm not working. Oh yeah, that's me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. And people see that there's a method to the madness. If you understand what I'm saying, because of the fact that it's not just like 2 guys rolling around on the ground. Yeah. There's actually a set of rules that I try to coach and I try to instruct Learning how to be on top. If you end up in a situation where you're going hands on somebody, you never want to be on your back. If you do be on your back, end up on your back, you want to be able to switch it, reverse it, get on top quick.
Right.
But you always want to be on top.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on top, it's always about control, pressure, control.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a war. Okay, it's like chess war. You're not going to win the war completely. You're going to win the small individual battles in between. And as you win those battles, it progresses you to be able to get the guy under control, get the person under control. So happens if you get him under control and he realizes, oh, he can't move, or he's not able to. He feels he's strong, but I'm 180 pounds, 185 pounds, and the guy could be like 199 pounds, and I get him to the ground. All of a sudden, he realizes, oh man, I can't do nothing with this guy because I'm wrapped up. He will most likely give up if he realizes it. He's like, man, I can't. Or he gets tired because I'm on him like a little Mexican dumping bean. They're like holding him down, running around him, and stuff like that. So that's how it goes.
See, one other good thing about police officers training that I like to point out all the time is the more confident a police officer is and the less force you have to use, the more man hours they can actually stay on, remain on the street. Because, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're just beating on a person, eventually you got to bring that person to the hospital and you're going to have to sit for it. So.
More paperwork, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. It's beneficial for police officers to train because, again, it keeps them out on the street longer to actually continue doing the job and protecting the citizens on the street.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you train with some of the other officers that they ask you.
Yeah.
What for both of you guys, especially you, Scott, because you train. That's part of your job, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays that you train these officers. What is it like training officers? How receptive are they? Or what's it like basically? What are the or any obstacles? You know, I mean, because we're instructors, so we know like some obstacles, like certain people and certain it's just.
Well, you have different attitudes and some egos. I mean, there's some police officers out there with egos.
That's
you
true.
Take this one. You take this one because I got some stories.
So I think the biggest thing is that guys walking up the street, and the first thing that kind of takes me by surprise is how little do they know.
Yeah.
And they've been officers for 10 years.
Yeah, because there's a big myth out there that, oh, this is a well-trained police officer that trains how to fight all the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
you would think that, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the first thing. And taking it slow. And then to your point is whenever I'm instructing, I rarely show submissions in the Leo class. Yeah. There's no point. I'm not going to show you a guillotine. I'm not going to show you how to triangle somebody. That's pointless for an officer. It's the main thing is get it to the ground, right? Get on top. Stay on top with control and pressure, just like you mentioned.
Exactly.
And if you're on the back, if you're on your back or on the bottom, you need to get up.
Right. Get up.
That's it. That's the most important.
To get up. Yeah, that's probably most important. Well, I guess they both are. But if you're the one on the bottom, they got the upper hand.
Well, that's what I teach my recruits in this last week when they were doing the SSGT is like, if this person took you down, they already just showed you a skill set that maybe they caught you by surprise, but maybe they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
This person tackled you. Apparently you had this class. You know how to defend that tackle. They still tackled you anyway.
Right.
At that point, even if I train jiu-jitsu, do I really want to test it? Do I want to use that as my test to see if my jiu-jitsu is better than his jiu-jitsu? Is my wrestling better than his wrestling? No, at that point, I can get up, create space, which is my friend, and then get to whatever tool I need to use to affect that wrestling.
Tase him or mace him or something.
Whatever department let you use at that point.
And with the popularity of the UFC, everybody watches every Saturday. They watch the UFC and they watch these guys and go through these transitions. Even if they don't train, they're watching. You're still learning.
So a little bit,
And YouTube gyms is a thing as well.
YouTube's gym has become a very big thing where a guy will go and learn how to throw an armbar on somebody just from watching YouTube for like hours on hours on hours in a day. And all of a sudden he's going out there throwing an armbar, even like a guillotine. And you're looking like where this came from. So it's
and to that point, I mean, just your average person on the street might have a little bit of a knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they watch it every week.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. It's more widespread now.
Yeah.
Just,
for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to be a policeman, you need to understand that you need to take that commitment in yourself, and you have to, you know, put the investment in yourself.
right.
Get to a gym, train, even if it's just a couple days a week or 2 days a week or whatever it is. Just do it. 6 months. That's all you need. 6 months.
Yeah.
And you'll know
Yeah, yeah.
enough.
Whatever you can. In fact, I mean, what's the Dr. Cop go to? Blue belt, right? Does it
Blue
go to
belt.
blue? Yeah. I mean, that's really all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you
but
need. Is
hopefully at that point they catch the bug and they continue.
Yeah.
Because there is something to say about perishable skills as well.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
Right.
I mean, you'll get rusty eventually, and so
Exactly.
Yeah. So you saying they had a story about training?
So
Calvin's always got some good stories for us.
it's one of those things where it starts off with one guy coming to the gym and coming to the class, and he wants to see if he can, if you're really as bad as everybody says you are now.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that never blow smoke up my tailpipe. Like, I just keep to myself.
You can curse, man.
I never blow smoke on my ass. I was helping teach defensive tactics class with our instructor, the head DT instructor, and we was doing the correctionals portion. Now there's a guy there, I'm not gonna say no names, but his feelings will get hurt if he ever hears this podcast. He said he took, when he was younger, he took taekwondo, karate, boxing. He did everything underneath the sun. And being in the class, he wanted to test himself. And he was like, well, come on, Cal, put the gloves on. And I'm like, nah, we cool. But he kept, like, you know how you poke the bell enough times to where you're like, all right, let's go. Well, by the time he had already poked the bell, the actual corrections class was coming in, and we had like around 10, maybe 12, 13, 14 people. And I said, okay.
So they got
a
witness. They got a show.
Witness.
a class humbling.
They got to witness a real big class humbling of not just jujitsu, but the whole MMA part came out of it, as far as with me being a retired fighter. Striking, the takedowns. I think I even do a couple of submission attempts at him just to like keep him guessing. And when the whole ordeal was over, you ever seen like the white of somebody's eyes, like when they're like, like he got up and he looking around like, man, did that just really happen? I'm like, yeah, it happened. It happened.
So basically, he gained a new respect for this, for the program of the training.
He gained a new respect, but he also gained the outlook of like, don't judge a book by its cover, because out of the both of us, he was the bigger guy.
Yeah.
He looked more of the type of person that will always get in a confrontation on the street, on patrol. And like me, I'm just like, let's talk. Don't get it twisted. I come from a family of fighters. Not this Cyclone Jiu-Jitsu, not me training at Midcity, not me training at F2 Fight Team, but I had a family member who fought in the UFC for years. And we started off at the same time. And if anybody knows about Lanka Manor area in Kenner, that's where majority of us grew up at. And that was an everyday thing for us to get into it with each other and be in the backyard of my auntie's house, walking out the backyard with black eyes and bloody noses. And hey, okay. Dab each other off. Wanna go play basketball? Okay. And our family members like, as long as you don't break nothing, y'all cool. So that's how it went.
What is your family? What is he up to these days? You ever talked to him recently?
He is. That's the family member who asked me if I want to do a bare knuckle fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I looked at him.
Is
like,
that what he's doing now?
Yeah, that's what he's doing. And I just look at him every day when I talk to him or when I see him.
You can go ahead and mention it.
Yeah.
Melvin Guillard, the young assassin. He's my first cousin. He
fought in Bellator for a while.
He fought UFC, Bellator. There was another one. I want to say. What was the before Justin Gaethje went to the UFC? What was the other fight organization he fought in?
PFL?
Not PFL. It was
World Series?
Nah.
Not Pride, huh?
No, it wasn't Pride. He's fought in Japan. He's fought in Holland. He's fought all over. But his last, before he went to Bellator, Justin Gaethje was a lightweight champion in another organization. I can't think of the name of it. But he fought Justin Gaethje. He fought Asanya in, I want to say, Australia, Holland, somewhere. He's fought all over, so he's been around for a while, and it's funny how we look at each other because he chose to fight, continue to fight while I retired, and he'll even look at me to this day. He said, "I can't believe you became a cop." Like all the crazy things that we used to do, you became a cop. I'm like, yeah.
Well, I mean, you were working on the roof of plants before, right?
I was
on that heat and that sun.
I was working in plants as a blaster, sand blaster, water blaster, painter, anything to make ends meet while I was training at Cyclone. And when you feel like you're not living to your full potential, you just get like in a drought. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Thanks to Darren.
Time out. Okay. It's uploaded. Okay, we're going. I'm gonna keep it on the screen so I can make sure, because I don't know if we got all that story, but I mean, it didn't stop, so I think it just.
We got the story, probably not the picture.
Yeah, I definitely have the auto. I always have auto recording.
Yeah,
I always have auto recording, but this is going to our podcast software online. Yeah. Okay, we're good. It may have not even stopped. Who knows? You're saying?
So Darren, our instructor, offered me a solution. Why not teach the kids program for a while?
Yep.
And then as I progress in my belt levels, I could start teaching the adult class when he was out of town and coach at tournaments while I'm fighting. That was the best thing that ever happened to me because it showed me I just wasn't a good fighter. It also showed me that I could be a good coach at the same time.
Yeah.
So it gave me a little bit more motivation to get up in the morning and to where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna work at the plants no more.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if I'm not making enough money, but I need something to do that I love to keep me going. And that's what happened. So it started off like that. And then when I retired from fighting, Darren was one of the guys who said, why not try law enforcement?
Yeah.
And my mindset at the time was like, no. But met a couple of good people who work in our department. And they all talked me into it. And that's how I started for me working in law.
Yeah, I think Big Blaine was one of them, right?
Big Blaine.
We got to get him on the show.
Yeah. I mean, will he fit in the frame?
If he don't knock himself out walking up the stairs.
Right.
Blaine, Darren, a couple of good people from the department that I work for. This kept pushing until I cracked under pressure, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Right. And next thing you know, I'm hired and I'm working in law enforcement, and I'm going to the academy after 2 years of working in the corrections department. Now I'm on the road, having fun meeting people.
Well, you're a people person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a perfect job.
Oh, it's kind of weird because people never thought I was a people person.
Yeah.
They thought I was quiet because I was afraid. Yeah. No, I'm very observant. I was like, what you doing?
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, once you know, then it's super friendly.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Are you part time at your academy now, or as an instructor, or
part time? Not full time yet. Hoping like in the next 2 or 3 months to get the full time position or one of the full time positions if everything goes my way. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping.
Yeah, and there's something to say about as far as all those kids classes you teach in the adult classes, whatever, setting you up for success in that field as well. Yeah. Already being in front of people, teaching, having the confidence in it.
Yeah. So speaking of going back to when you're saying instructing, how it helped you and stuff like that, I think we all can agree that it made you a better at your game
as a martial artist.
as a martial artist. When you instruct, it just makes you retain things better, and it just makes you a better martial artist.
I have if anybody's ever grappled with me,
Mhm.
I have set. I use grappling like fingerprints. Nobody will never grapple the same way. I'll never grapple like you. I'll never grapple like you. You'll never grapple like me. I have a set of moves that are unique to me that a lot of y'all see them like, how do I do that? Or what am I doing? Or
I'm just worried about all the sweat that you.
oh, that's one of my game plans. That's one of my. I use it. We call it Calvin juice. We call it Calvin juice.
that guy. Huh?
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I keep like 3 pairs of shirts in my bag, like 4 towels.
You want to grapple first round?
Yeah. Get it out the way.
But no, it like I say, it helped me, and me being a coach and being able to just talk to people and just being able to have a conversation, not being nervous. A lot of I see a lot of things with a lot of new officers. They don't know how to talk to people. Like you say, they are so amped up in a call. They don't know how to calm themselves down when they're talking. Hey man, just chill out. Like before we got body cam, I would talk to somebody. I call them Sugarfoot. Get them all, get their mindset. Like what? And like, got you laughing. How you doing? Next thing you know, they're like, "Hey man, you cool." But times change. You can't say things like that now. You gotta be more.
So they'll give you shit if you say, "Hey," if they.
Oh, yo, boy.
Sugarfoot.
I have been called into my lieutenant's office on a few occasions. Like, Cal, you can't say that. I'm like, but he calmed down.
Right.
Still, you got to be professional. Okay, I'll be professional. About 2 months go by, I'm good. Then all of a sudden I get another call in the office. So it's how you handle the situation.
Yeah.
It's exactly how you handle the situation. Like, I don't know if anybody is like me. I've never met another person like me. I'm sure when I have a couple little banditos running around here, I'm gonna scratch my head like, how they, like, is that how I used to act? But,
Yeah, so Scott, whenever I started training martial arts, I was already working for NLP for a while as well, so I didn't start off at first. I started learning to look at different scenes and situations in a different manner, as far as like, a step-by-step process that you go through jiu-jitsu or whatever. I know you said you were a detective. How does the martial arts actually help you with your job?
The main thing that I have now is just composure.
Yeah.
Right. You don't get amped up. Right. I don't. Where I'm at, I don't really get to have like a hands-on experience because I come in after the fact. I do the investigation, stuff like that. But
does it help you look at the scene differently at all sometimes? Or?
Yeah. But I mean, that in its own is a skill that you learn as an investigator over time.
Yeah.
I think it helps out when you interact with people, interviews, things like that.
Right.
You know, I get stuff all the time about how I never lose my temper.
Yeah.
It's like, you never get angry. I'm like,
it's like, have you ever had somebody stuck on your back and you couldn't get them off?
Exactly. It's like I go through things multiple times a week there in the gym, like there's nothing this person could do to me that's gonna, you know what I mean? So it's, you stay level and you stay calm and people come down to your level and then they open up to you. Like you said, sometimes people go like, wow, this guy's not a cop, right? You get that bad stigma. Cops are assholes and they're going to treat me bad and they're going to, do me wrong or whatever like that. But if you just talking to them and they feel like they're just talking to another person,
exactly,
they'll open up to you.
Very much so.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there's a few cops that give that name to everybody.
Yeah. So as a bad guy, Rennie.
As a bad guy.
Have you come across any of those police?
Assholes?
Yeah.
Gosh, I would say yes. All of them that I know, but they're only assholes to around us. Only they're your kind of asshole, No, it's funny because like honestly, the majority of my friends are law enforcement and stuff, and all of them are pretty cool. I mean, maybe they have bad days and stuff like that, but I've never heard any.
But do most of them train?
Yes. Yeah. So
what's the common denominator?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. That's 100% what it is.
So we actually have a program where if we see an officer that is kind of going up, so they're going up to maybe that 10 and they don't need to be at that 10. where it's almost like a tag out system. It's like, hey man, can you go run this name real quick? Or
Oh,
whatever?
okay,
I'll
yeah.
take over.
Yeah.
And that way, whenever you see them going up,
They can cool off.
they can cool off, and you can help kind of protect their job,
Right.
and then you can talk later. It's like,
Is that a common thing in all departments? Like
I can't speak on that. I don't really see that.
We have something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, we do.
I mean, that's just smart. It just seems smart, to get the hotheads out.
Switch them.
That's what they do with the people they talk to. Like they don't, hey, cool down. Let me go talk to this guy first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell my recruits that all the time. Again, it's like, hey, if somebody gives you in that situation, or it's like, hey, go do something, go check it out. Don't let your ego get in the way, because sometimes it's like, no, this is my scene. I'm in charge. I'm taking over. Yeah. It's like, no, man. Hey, relax. That person's trying to save your job. Go sit in the car for a second, relax for a second, and then come back and do business.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're out there. I mean, you have the policemen that are always amped up, always looking for trouble. And the sad part is that's the ones that make video, and then they become a viral clip. And it's spread around, and all of a sudden it's every policeman's that way. When it's not the case.
Everybody looking at people group us in the same in the same way. Nah, man, I'm not like that. I'm a whole different officer. Talk to me like I'm talking to you. Nah, you're the same as him.
Yeah, all cops are the same.
All cops are the same. This, that, and I'm like, nah, man, it's not like that.
Right.
Let's just talk.
That just goes to your mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just you can keep your composure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned so both jiu-jitsu. What is there any particular officer training that do that? Because jiu-jitsu, I mean, for the most part, it's like you say, you're not teaching submissions really. You get up and stuff like that. Is it anywhere that y'all address weapons, like either edged weapons or blunt weapons or something to that degree, where it's not just an empty hands attacker?
Are you talking about the perpetrator? Or?
Yes, the perpetrator. Yes.
In where I teach in my program, I haven't gotten to that level yet, just because I have so much of a turnover.
Yeah.
And so I have a group of guys, and once they start getting it, I'm like, let's implement a gun, right? Let's do, get the gun or whatever like that. But then they leave, and then I get a new group, and you got to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the challenge.
It's same thing with us, for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I'm training or when I'm coaching, if it gets to a point where we get them on the ground and you feel like something's not right, they're not trying to fight your hands. They're trying to grab at their waist. They're trying to grab at their pants. I tell them back off for a reason. There's a reason. I don't care if you have them subdued or you have them under control, because
or control their hands.
Control their hands, exactly. Yeah. But I'm also always saying, watch the hands. What is the hands?
Absolutely.
So if you don't see hands and you're trying to, there's a pretty good chance that these guys are feeling for something to try to grab, or if they're trying to feel on you to try to grab something.
Yeah.
So back off, reassess the situation, go to the tool if you have to, make sure it's the right tool for the right situation.
Yeah.
Right.
So right there, I've never been in that situation before. I hope to God I never go in that situation.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm like I say, I'm very observant. If I put my hands on you,
that's the number one thing, is being observant. Situational awareness of what that person may or may not have with them and on them.
If, like I said, if I put my hands on you, I'm physically holding you to control, not per se to hurt, but to control.
Yeah.
But if I see your hands going towards me or going towards your waist or going somewhere on your body, I'm like, man, that's a place where something could be held or something probably could do some real bad damage to me. I back off and I go to a different scenario. I go to a different situation.
Or you prepare for that. I mean, you see videos like that. You see somebody, the cops not really paying attention. They go for something, then all of a sudden somebody's getting shot. Guns out or something, or trying to get stabbed or something like that.
Right. And that all circles back to your training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you don't train and you get into an altercation,
right,
your adrenaline spikes, tunnel vision, you don't pay attention to their hands.
Exactly.
Next thing you know,
observant of everything.
They've grabbed a gun, and now it's a whole different situation, which could have been avoided if you stay calm, keep an open eye, watch their body language.
And not just them, but whoever else may be around.
Yeah. Well, speaking about multiple people, right, I wanted to talk to y'all and ask y'all opinions on this, because I'm kind of torn in this matter as far as and y'all were both talking about controlling on the top and stuff like that. as far as teaching police officers the mount, because a lot of times we're working in that person's neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get on top of somebody and I mount on top of them, how easy is it for them to hold me and wait for their backup to get there?
Right.
That stuff. So
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Mhm.
I don't teach mount. I teach knee on hip line because it's easy for me to move. It's easy for you to move.
Right.
You got
To pivot.
Exactly.
Look around.
Yes.
If you're in mount and a person grabs you, and I'm. This has happened to me before I became a officer. We all know the situation out in Harris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. After the fight, after a fight where I got jumped by like 12 people for no reason. I was handling one guy and I mounted him. And while I'm controlling him, he reaches around me and holds me tight. And I don't know if it was a girl or a guy, but she kicked my nose out my face. Yeah.
I saw a stiletto or a high heel boot, whatever it was. And
Yeah.
when you're on the ground and you got 12 people doing the river dance on you, you can't do nothing. So you curl up in a ball and you just hold on for their life.
Yeah, I mean, I believe firmly there are times where a mount would be great.
Yeah.
And it does help. You've seen countless videos of maybe a police officer in a shopping center. They're mounted on top of somebody, hold them down, maybe until backup gets there or the person drains, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the depletion principle. Somebody wearing out, they're carrying your weight the whole time, and then all of a sudden you're able to get them in cuffs. However, if you're in their neighborhood, like I was saying, their friends are there faster than your backup's going to get there.
Yeah.
So
it's
something about a switch in your head you have to be able to flip. It's like, this would be a good time to do it. This is a horrible time to do it.
Well, this is what I was getting at about the weapons training, because I love jiu-jitsu, but as a edge weapons instructor, there's huge flaws in jiu-jitsu that jiu-jitsu only people don't realize, and they think, oh, kick anybody's ass, man, you get on top of somebody, you're getting stabbed if you don't, it just happens really quick. And I think that's one aspect of some people don't realize, that can happen really fast, especially if it's somebody who's trained in knife or any kind of weapons. I mean, guns obviously, but being edge weapons, I find that more dangerous per se. That's one of the things I really look for, especially down in the South, because everybody has a knife. Not everybody knows how to use it. Anybody holding a knife could be called a knife fighter, but not everybody uses it. Everybody
there's something
has
to say about how easy it is to understand that you put the pointy end into the person, though, right?
Yes, that is right.
For the basic concept.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody can get stabbed. Anybody can get stabbed.
And anybody can stab somebody else.
Right. So, and that's what's dangerous about them, So if nobody ever trains to specifically address that situation, you're at a disadvantage. And the real disadvantage is there's 90% of any weapons you see on the internet, like weapons training, is garbage, man. It is absolute garbage. It's stationary stuff. It's just people, it's not reality.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell on my students is, honestly, man, I'm not to boast, but your wife included, anybody pulls a knife, they messed up. They may get touched a little bit with, but they're gonna get the bad end of it.
I live in constant fear because of it.
But so that's what I was getting at. So like you said, because there's times jiu-jitsu is perfect. Perfect, absolutely perfect. And I think that's the core. For me, I think that's the core martial art. You should need to know that. But not rely completely on it, especially when your life's in danger for your job,
right?
Because nobody plays by rules. Nobody's gonna say, "Okay, yeah, let's go." Right. Speaking of, so what's the craziest altercations y'all ever been in? If you can talk about it
without giving too much specifics.
I'm just gonna bring this up like him. He had to wrestle a poop guy in a jail cell.
That was when I was working at a different department.
Department.
Since I've been training, I haven't had an altercation.
Oh, that's good.
Because of where I am, and I'm dealing with people so after the fact. But I can remember when I was in patrol before I started training, there was a guy set his house on fire.
Yeah,
and he was in his front yard completely naked. So I had to get him to the ground, and he was just like reaching for everything on my belt.
Oh man!
I had to pepper spray him.
And you got to watch. Yeah.
So speaking on what Scott just said, how the person's reaching for everything on his belt, that's another concept you got to think about when you're teaching police officers.
Exactly.
Because if I'm inside somebody's guard, what do we want to do when you're inside somebody's guard? You want to pass it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a police officer, as I'm passing the guard, what am I presenting to the person that's right there around my waist?
Exactly.
So it's like sometimes, you know what, I got to turn that switch in my head and be like, you know what, again, let me get up, get away from this person. That way I can use what's around my waist. And
you got to be conscious of which sides you're giving them closest to their hands. Yeah.
And then the untrained officer, what's the most common thing that a veteran's going to tell you? Oh, well, I'll shoot him in that situation, or I'll tase him. Right. Well, very good, but we're in this close quarter combat. What if they take it from you and use it against you now?
Exactly.
They always tell you, I mean, every altercation you get into, there's at least one gun in that fight.
Yeah.
Yours.
And if you're in a close quarter situation, the best place for it is to remain in that holster.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of guys are quick to pull their guns out, and they think it's like a magic wand, and they're just going to listen to you. But no, you're exposing that gun, and that gun's in that fight.
And you don't know this person if they're highly trained.
No.
Now it's easier for them to acquire that.
Now they have your gun.
Yeah.
That's a bad day.
It's one of those things where one of my old academy instructors said, how many people have been in a shoot fight and a shootout as a police officer? Not that many. How many people have been in a fight? Everybody raise their hands. So, well, not every officer, but some officers. Would you, in a close quarters situation, would you try to pull your gun or your taser, knowing that you have one hand trying to grab at your waist while the other hand is trying to defend yourself, and the other guy has two hands? He can knock you out, and it's a 50-50 fight standing on your feet. He has a chance of knocking you out. He can just take a little jab on the jaw, knock you out, and all of a sudden you're on your back, unconscious, and he's grabbing your gun, your mace, your taser. You have to know when to pull it and when not to pull it. Keep it in the holster. Be smart about it. Be very smart about it. Like, I don't know. I'm not too dependable. As far as like, I won't go to my taser all the time. I won't go to my mace all the time. I'm very, like I say, it's all about confidence. I'm confident with my hands, but I'm also confident being able to talk.
You only bring those tools out when you need to.
Exactly. Some of these, like I said, I've only been an officer for about 3-4 years. 4 years coming up in December. But like I say, I'm always using my hands. A lot of the older officers and a lot of the newer officers have become weapon or tool dependent. And something like a mace is a taser is not 100%. Mace is not 100%. If you pull your firearm, there better be a good reason why you're pulling your firearm. So you have to know something to back yourself up.
Well, you see those videos all the time with tasers. Doesn't do anything to
I mean, you got different situations. You got a clothing disconnect. Maybe you're wearing baggy clothing, so he doesn't attach or get close enough, or another thing, officer's gonna miss. You're in a stressful situation, and your arm's shaking around, and we're doing in-service with tasers, and it sits there, and you just got to rehand them a cartridge because they got to get it both cartridges in the green, and when they don't do it, it's like, here's your next shot, and that's a no stress situation. It's just sitting there and training.
A lot has to go right.
A lot has to go right.
The bad guy's moving, you're moving. So
y'all have all been tased too, right?
Oh boy.
I'm not going to confirm or deny there's a video out there.
There's a video out there too. I'll tell you this, I'd rather get tased than get maced.
They pepper spray us too.
Well, I mean, it depends on the situation, I think. If I'm out on the street, I'd rather be sprayed because I can fight through that. Whereas if somebody takes your taser from you and uses it
you're
against
stuck
you,
on the floor.
And if they get that spread and they get the neuromuscular incapacitation, you're locked up.
Well, I'm saying, like, as far as the academy, I rather, like, you could tase me. I take the taser 10, taser 7, taser 26, whatever you got. Don't come at me with the Saber Red. Don't come at me with the Freeze Plus P. Stay away from me. No, I'm like, well, you need. I'm good. I already done it. We ain't doing it no more.
So going back to your story, how did that end with the naked guy who set his house on fire?
We actually got him under control. We had to wrap him up in a big tarp. and put him in the back of a car and bring him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
See,
mental.
was he like
How
on
many
drugs or something?
He was a mental.
Yeah, he's a mental.
How many officers did it take?
3 of us, I think.
3.
Yeah, this was some years back.
Now, did you find that y'all maybe got in each other's way a little bit sometimes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I tell my recruits sometimes too, is like if you actually train, you actually want your coworkers sometimes to get out of
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's like, remember we had that battle royal that one time.
Yeah.
Me, you and Blake.
Yeah.
And
But
getting each
you're
other's
fighting
way.
against the other person, you know.
Even if you're 2-on-1 on somebody, you're
Mhm.
getting in the other person's
This
way.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a fun time.
You see it in the videos. Cops fight each other.
Yeah, and they falling over each other.
Pulling arms in
Yeah.
different directions or
Yeah.
grabbing the head too soon. It's like, man, work
You may
together.
be grabbing your partner's arm
Oh,
and pulling
right.
it, thinking you got the perpetrators.
I seen one recently where the officer shot another officer.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, that
It
sucks.
happens.
That
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, it can happen.
Oh man. So, can you tell us about your poop story? Because I mentioned it, so they're gonna be like, "What the hell is this going on?"
So, I mean, I was working in booking
Mm.
at my previous agency, and they had a subject come in. He was completely mental as well.
Mhm.
And he was just going crazy, throwing himself against the wall, stuff like that. And we can't let him sit there and knock himself out.
Yeah.
So we opened up the door to go in there and try and control him. And all of a sudden, he just takes a massive dump. And I was like, man, now we got to clean this crap up. No, he picks up the poop and starts smearing it all over himself.
Mhm.
And that was Big Joe who was working over
Yeah.
there with me. And we had to go in there and deal with
That
it because he wasn't going to stop trying to harm himself.
Right. So yeah, you got to stop him from harming yourself.
So,
Or
exactly.
You're
I mean,
responsible.
you're responsible for him at that point. So I had to go home on a uniform change.
yeah.
In the shower.
And a shower.
In a shower, please. A shower.
I think I took a shower that night.
Nasty.
Oh man.
I think Joe's the one that told you that story first. He
I
loves
don't
telling that
remember.
story.
I just remember. I remember hearing briefly about it.
Yeah.
That y'all two fought a guy covered in poop.
Now, I think that was his first week working there. Too.
Oh, really?
So,
You're like, oh, what did I just walk into?
That's why he works at an energy plant.
At
Now.
energy,
It's the end of the plant.
He resigned.
Yeah. No, I think he's still part time. Like
he is part time,
he
but I
is
think
not
said
part time. He's
reserve.
Reserve,
yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's talking about actually. Oh, I don't want to get too much. He might not more.
I think he's here. Somebody's here. Who's here? Joe?
Yeah.
There he is. We're talking about poop
Speaking
story,
of,
Joe.
man, you
Come
come
up
sat
here,
in
Joe.
for the poop.
Look, Joe, I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna let you sit in my seat for a second, and you're gonna tell a story of your first week working at a department.
Watch your head, Joe. What's up, little Joe?
What's up, little Joe?
So, do you want to tell us about your first week working at a certain department in the booking section? Come over here. Come closer.
Don't want to. I'll remember for the rest of my life, definitely. New guy, second week, get a call. Hey, send the rookie up to the front. We got a situation. Like, all right.
Well, there's a reason why you were sent besides being a rookie. I mean, you look like this, though.
Was with the other meathead, Brad. Remember Brad?
Yeah.
So 2 meatheads and a crazy Marine go deal with a guy covered in poop, naked. Go take that from him. He can't have that. It's like a blanket or something, huh?
Yeah, he was banging himself.
Well, suicide watch.
Yeah.
Can't have a blanket.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna armor myself up in a poop suit. Not gonna bother me. I'll go. I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, here we go. So they give us these paper suits, right? You know what I'm talking about? We don't fit in paper suits. So we get in it, we move, they rip. I'm like, well, here we go. Bailey goes in first. Bing, 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 bing. Me. Bing, bing, bing. Bing, bing, bing. Bing, bing. On him. Yeah.
You puked on the poop guy or Bill?
Yeah. No, poop guy.
Yeah.
But poop guy was mad because I
Poop
threw
is
it on
everywhere.
him. Like, bro, you were covered in feces your own. And now,
You're upset because you got thrown up on and you're covered in dookie.
yeah. So, almost quit. They talked me out of it because I've been in several, bar fights, street fights, working security in ballrooms. Never naked covered in poop. Never. All the clothes on. No, not this one.
So that's something, considering the way that we know Joe, as far as if you even put a foot in his face, he's gonna start tapping.
Yeah.
Joe hates feet.
That's a submission for him.
No. That's when you take the toes and then you just
You wiggle them underneath his nose, right?
yeah, and then just like this, and then just toy with me and just go not the foot slide that's random. You're trying to move it. No, it's just I'm pinned, can't move in this one. Or look.
Oh.
Yeah, Billy. Okay, let's say Billy fights dirty. He finds everybody's weakness.
There's
That's not
no
jiu-jitsu related,
rule
and
in
uses them
any
against
tournament
you.
about tickling. I've looked. Naga has no tickling rule. AGF has no tickling rule.
So he'll be demonstrating something where I cannot move at all whatsoever, and then he tickles me. And then Darren picks that up. So now Darren, when he tickles me.
So if it works, it works.
Yeah. Well, when you turn to a pressure point, tickling, it's not really fun.
He's even farted on me. I got that one on video.
Your daughter got that one on video.
I mean, the kids do that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, anything else, guys? You want to discuss? Talk about? Promote? Again, so let's go ahead and get this back out there.
Yeah.
Scott at Midcity MMA teaches law enforcement program every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m.
That's right.
Man, I got that right. I remember that shit. 9 a.m.
Free.
Free of charge. So if
Completely
you're an
free.
officer and don't train, you have no excuse, man. I would. It's stupid not to do it.
And there's no
Stupid.
cap on it. Like you said, with Adopt a Cop, there's
Right.
only so much scholarship money there's available. There's nothing.
Nothing.
This is completely free.
As much as
Something that Shawn's allowing you to do using Midcity MMA.
Right. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That really is good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep. Calvin. See Calvin on the streets somewhere in your local neighborhood. He'll be the nice guy smiling.
with
Come
the
here,
cauliflower.
Sugarfoot. Come here, Sugarfoot. Let me talk to you right quick. Come here. Come here, Twinkle Toes. Let
You
me
may see him in a bare knuckle fight soon too, right?
He needs to get in the gym for that first.
Yeah.
I need to be in the gym. Yeah, I need to be in the gym.
We'll have to get you and Melvin on and talk about bare knuckle. We're actually gonna have Alan Belcher.
Yes.
He's coming on, and
Nice.
him
I know.
and one of his heavyweights that's fighting tonight at the what is it, the All In Combat. Yeah. I wonder how that's going on. But they're coming probably September or something like that.
Curious about Madison's fight. Remember we had her on last.
Yeah. Okay, so we thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
100%, man. We thank what you're doing. We think what you're doing, training the other cops and getting everybody up to your levels. I mean, that's only improving our law enforcement.
Yes.
Thank you, Billy, for doing the same thing. I know when I talked to your students the other day, they weren't too thankful.
They were. So they spent a whole day on just falling down and standing back up.
That's huge.
The hardest thing to do in a fight is to get back up to your feet. And when you're exhausted and then somebody's on top of you, how much harder is that?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like to fall down.
Yeah.
At my age, it doesn't feel well.
Oh,
My age and weight, it doesn't feel well.
Unfortunately for me, as I'm getting older, all the recruits are staying the same age. Every class they're coming down, they're still in their 20s, they're still in their 20s.
Yes.
So-
So again, ohanahosting.com, check them out. Look for us again. We'll be gone next week. I'll be in Chicago, so probably first week in September we'll be filming again or recording again. We'll have something going for you. I may be going out to you guys Mid-City Tuesday to get a little interview and footage of Biggie. What's his name?
Vicky?
Biggie. He goes by Biggie.
Jacob?
Jacob Smalls. Yeah. Him and Macy, right?
Yeah.
Some of their training and stuff like that because to promote their upcoming fights.
Okay.
Yeah. So I might be out there. But anything else?
Yeah, if you like anything that you've seen today, go ahead and make sure you like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe.
We're on
Please.
YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Mhm. Correct. Well, if that is it, we're gonna go eat some food and watch some UFC. So don't forget to
Break fall.